Going live. You're live! Hello everyone, I'm Santiago and today I'm gonna be testing Spider-Man Remastered once more on the GTX 750 Ti, but also on a 2-core 4-thread PC. So we got a G4560 here with 8GB of RAM on dual channel. As you can see, 2 cores, 4 threads, 8GB DDr3 at 1333 MHz. Probably if you have DDR4 RAM, it's going to be faster. If you have a motherboard capable of that, we have an SSD and the 750 Ti. So why do this? Good question. I don't know either. No, I'm kidding. This will be like the minimum requirements PC. So if you go to Steam to the Spider-Man webpage, what you're going to find is that the minimum requirements, it's actually i3 4160, which is 2 cores and 4 threads as well, 8GB of RAM, which we have here, a GTX 950 or a Radeon RX 470. I don't know why, but these two GPUs, this GPU is way faster than the 950. I don't know why it's here. But I got a 750 Ti and a 1050 Ti, so we're going to try both of those and see if we can actually play the game properly. So we're going to try that. And we're going to be using the same settings as my 750 Ti stream a moment ago. So yeah, which means it's 720p medium, and that's basically it. Lock at 30 frames per second. First, we're going to unlock the frame rate though. So TAA, VSync, let's disable it for now. 720p, everything on medium. And let the CPU do the rest. Wish me luck. Hopefully it doesn't crash. Did you slow down the RAM? No. That's as fast as it goes, unfortunately. Apologies, but that's how I have it. Oh, I forgot the overlay. Buenas, Nico, ¿todo bien? Okay, here we go again. No worries. Okay, come on. Overlay, I need you. Almost there. There we are. So as you can see, the overlay is a little bit smaller. That's because we only have 2 cores and 4 threads. Hence why this is like this. So let me zoom in into the FPS. There you are. So as you can see, even in the menu, we're already at 28 FPS. Let's see once we get into the game. Well, the stuttering issue is probably either you don't have dual channel or you don't have 4 physical cores. I think. Those will be my theories. Okay, it's already using all my RAM and all my VRAM. Are we still alive? Okay, we are. Oh god. Yeah, I think the main limit here is the RAM. Since we're so low on VRAM, it usually compensates the lack of VRAM using system RAM, but there is none. Yeah, I mean, look at that. So I think the main issue here is the VRAM, actually. Apart from the CPU and the amount of RAM, is the amount of VRAM. So what I'm going to do is close the game first of all and lower everything to the absolute minimum. And let's see if that helps. It's probably going to help. Rip potato. Well, being fair, the 750 Ti is below the minimum requirements. But still. 2 gigs of VRAM are 2 gigs of VRAM. Okay, lowest settings. Let's give it another shot. 720p lowest. There we go. But I think the main problem here again, VRAM and RAM. If I had 16 gigabytes of RAM in this case, I'll probably have more leeway with the VRAM. I'm still live, yeah. Here I am, man. Welcome. Welcome back. Let's see. Moment of truth. Let's get to load those assets. Those assets. Yeah, no. Still, we're VRAM limited. So, okay. Yeah, I can see the problem. The problem is clearly that we don't have enough VRAM. It tries to compensate with system RAM, and since we're already maxed out, it doesn't have... it has to resort to the storage, the page file. And that's super slow. So yeah, in this case, if I had 16 gigabytes, it would run fine. Maybe at 30 it drops into the 10 FPS range. But like this is impossible. But good news, I have a 1050 Ti lined up and ready to try this out. And since the 1050 Ti has 4 gigs of VRAM, it shouldn't need RAM to compensate for the lack of VRAM, so the game should be playable. As you can see, when I'm still, it's fine. So let's swap to the 1050 Ti, which is very close to the 950. It's a few frames ahead. So it will be closer to our minimum requirements in the Steam page. So yeah, let's do that. So again, the 950 is mostly closer to the 1050 Ti in this case, except for the VRAM parts. So let's shut it down, and we're going to swap, there's the other PC, to the 1050 Ti. Alright. You have the same case? Yeah, it was very cheap. And it has a plastic side panel. So far so good. Yeah, the stock cooler. Well, it's a G4560. You don't need more than that. I mean, come on. Yeah, the 1050 Ti is more realistic in this case. And it's closer to the 950 than the 750 Ti. So, yeah. You watched the new Alone in the Dark? Yeah, I saw it. I'm pretty hopeful for the new Alone in the Dark. It actually looks like Alone in the Dark, finally. It's time. Okay, we're back on the desktop, now with a 1050 Ti, which again is closer to the minimum requirements. So what we're doing... We're going to be using the settings that I used on this 1050 Ti stream, which is medium on 1080p, because we're CPU limited, so lowering that stuff should help. That's why I'm not playing on high. You can actually do high on the 1050 Ti, but since we're going to be CPU limited, lowering the draw distance is helpful, at least in my opinion. So, okay. So we open MSI, we got 1050 Ti. We got a slight undervolt to keep the temperatures in check. Just something that I do in this computer. And we launch the game. Is a 10400F so cooler loud when playing? Yeah, it is. Especially when I'm playing CPU bound stuff, which is not often. But it's a stock cooler, so I mean I use headphones, so I don't hear it. So we're going for 1080p, TAA. And on the graphics, we go for medium. So everything on medium, medium, medium. Isotropic 8 times. In this game, it kind of makes a difference for some reason. So yeah, basically medium on this card. And if that's not good enough, we're going for low settings. So I press OK before jumping into the game again. Remember that in the store page, the minimum requirements are i3 41 something, 4130, 4160, which is 2 cores 4 threads, 8 gigs of RAM, and a 950, which is pretty close to the 1050 Ti, except it has 2 gigs of VRAM instead of 4. And I don't know why the 470 is the minimum here. It's nowhere close to 950. The 950 is way slower. So yeah, I don't know what's up with that. Anyway, let's go. This is going to suck. Probably. Yeah. I guess so. Sometimes that happens. Okay, at least on the menu we're getting 70 FPS instead of 20, which is already a good sign. I think with 8 GB of VRAM is going to work fine, because we are not going over the VRAM limit. Okay, now we're talking. The CPU is now maxed out, and the GPU is still not maxed out. So when I'm standing still, 100% CPU. Imagine when I start swinging around. Oh my god. What am I doing with my life? Okay, it's not so bad. I thought it was going to be a lot worse than this. But as you can see, the CPU is the bottleneck. A huge bottleneck, actually. Yeah, the CPU doesn't want to live on this planet anymore. Please, Santiago, stop rendering Spider-Man. Please. Still. It actually works. With 8 GB of RAM. Just make sure that your graphics card has at least 4 GB of VRAM. So the system doesn't have to compensate the lack of VRAM with system RAM, which is the issue we had before. The 750 Ti was 2 GB, so when the game used more than 2, it tried to use RAM to compensate, and we didn't have any RAM available, so it went like 10 FPS. Although now it's dying again. So yeah, as you can see, the graphics card is not even fully utilized. Why is this happening? Because the game is rendering the entire world while I swing around. Yeah, the CPU doesn't like this at all. Oh my god. So I was right, this game does run on a potato. Yeah, but the fact that it runs doesn't mean that you should. I mean, if you look down while you swing, you can play it. You don't know where you're going, but you can kinda play. There has to be a mod that forces a 2D perspective, a top-down view. Like this. This is how you get it playable. On this on this CPU. Just look down. Is it better if the GPU goes 99% usage? Yeah, it's better because usually what you want to be the limiting factor is the GPU, not the CPU like right now. Let's try lowest settings. We gotta restart the game for that though. It's not an issue. It loads immediately with the SSD. Touch the floor and the FPS goes down. Yeah, if you look down or are standing still, it's fine. The thing is, you start swinging and dead, reduced to atoms. Let's play on very low. Let's see if this helps the CPU in any way, shape or form. Probably not, but it doesn't hurt to try. Here we go. Yeah, 1080 Ti is more than enough. Sí, la 1080 Ti sobradísimo andas. Cero problema. Okay. Let's try that again. Yeah, 4 cores, 4 threads is probably the minimum. Yeah, I mean the minimum. The minimum recommended. Okay. I'm getting hopeful now. Am I actually at 30 frames? Okay. I think it's fine now, guys. Okay, lowest settings actually works. Cool. So if you don't mind playing on lowest settings, you can actually play at over 30 frames. The buildings do not load properly, but yeah, it still looks great on the lowest settings. It's kind of nuts. I think this is because we also lowered the draw distance on the lowest settings. That affects the CPU as well. Okay, it worked. Finally, a game that has CPU-bound options. Let me see if I can crank it up a bit without touching any CPU-related thing. Let's see, texture filtering, this is GPU, without a doubt. Textures, let's keep it on low. Shadows, says GPU, so we keep it there. This is GPU, this is GPU. Level of detail, this is CPU. This is CPU. This is CPU. This is hair, so it's GPU. Weather particles, it's probably a mix. That will fill this GPU. Bloom, GPU, GPU. Shadows, also GPU. Okay. Gotcha. So, how do I call this? This setting. TDP lowest plus medium shadows, SSAO, SSR. Yeah, that's fair. So this is TDP lowest settings with medium shadows, screen space ambient occlusion, and screen space reflections. Let's see if this is good enough to get 30 frames on this CPU. We turned off all the CPU demanding stuff. Okay, I think that did it. We're using a lot more GPU now. Oh yeah, it's evolving. Although you still need 4 gigs of VRAM. Well, as you can see, no, make it better visually. It doesn't mean it's better. Performance is not going to be better. Only the... what's the name of this? The visuals are going to be a little bit better. So now at least we get screen space reflections and ambient occlusion, which is a big one. Does the FPS decrease because of RAM or your CPU? This is CPU. I mean, the issue we have here is the CPU, without a doubt. You can see that the GPU is not fully utilized. Although now it's a lot better if you don't mind lowering the CPU heavy stuff. I did it! I stopped the car! So yeah, by lowering the CPU intensive settings, you can actually get 30s. So that's good news. I lowered the crowds, the amount of cars, the draw distance, all that stuff that we like. I lowered it. But I cranked up the shadows for the GPU to do some work. And I cranked up the reflections and the ambient occlusion. So if you tweak it, you can totally play the game at 30 frames. And if I look at the entire city at once, yeah, I'm at 30 frames. Yeah, this is fine. If you do that, you're good. So, best settings. Best settings are go to VSync and enable it. Then go to Riva Tuner if you have it and lock it to 30 like this. I have a hotkey for that. So it's locked to 30. Then this, keep it like this. On graphics, put everything on the lowest except in shadows, SSAO, and screen space reflections, and hair. Those are GPU options. These three right here, level of detail, traffic density, and crowd density, this affects the CPU. So keep these on the lowest. Then the rest you can crank it up. Should be okay. And the textures on low is because sometimes on medium textures it's like using more than 4 gigs of VRAM, and that affects our RAM because we run out of VRAM and we need to compensate with RAM. So if we lock it to 30 and we enable VSync, should be okay. And that should be fine. So let's play a little bit like this. Oh yeah, much better. Lock 30s, and the CPU is not crying for its life. and the frame time is way more consistent. Oh yeah, that's how you do it. No dynamic resolution? No, because the dynamic resolution affects the GPU. It doesn't affect the processor in any way. So it wouldn't make a difference. I mean, it would try to lower the resolution, but if we lower the resolution, we're not going to get less CPU usage, so... The best way to do it is to lower the crowds, the cars, the level of detail, all that stuff. And cranking up the stuff that is only GPU bound, like the shadows, the ambient occlusion, the reflections. That is mostly GPU stuff. And you lock it to 30, so the CPU is not at 100% all the time, and it's more consistent on the frame time side. And there you go. You can actually play it. And it doesn't look bad at all, actually. Considering this is the lowest settings with medium shadows, plus reflections and ambient occlusion, still looks pretty good. Which blows my mind. I still cannot believe what I'm seeing. It would be interesting to test it against the PS4 version, but I don't have it. It would be interesting, yeah, to see the visual difference.
Good old Empire State. Man, I love this.
I want to change the suit. Hang on. I'm bored of the Night Monkey suit. Nothing against it. Let's go full Toby. Oh yeah.
Time to grab a snapshot.
Tobey Maguire. Nice work.
That'll do it. Map should be recalibrated now.
Now the PS4 version is still 1080p.
Since quitting the Bugle.
So
God, how much I enjoy
on the
it.
pixel count side is the same. I don't know about the draw distance though. That's kind of what I don't know about.
Huh, it's Mr. Lee. Hello?
Peter, it's Martin Lee. I just wanted to let you know we need a little extra time to get set for May's party. I guess the cake delivery.
You're gonna go
is
with
stuck in
Fantastic
traffic.
Four suit?
Oh.
No, it's not Fantastic Four. It's... what is it? Bombastic Batman. I don't know. I don't like that one.
Just let me know when you're
I used to have that one on PlayStation 1, on the PS1 game.
Okay, got some time to kill.
I don't know if it was called the same, but it had a bag in its head. Okay, explore the city. Sure thing. Happy to hack some towers.
We've got reports of muggings in the area. Available officers, please proceed to Bryant. Over.
Oh, it is on.
So yeah, if you want to play it with 2 cores and 4 threads, you can do so, but sacrifices need to be made. Yeah, definitely a good name, but visually I don't like it. I don't know why. It doesn't attract me much. And if I have the option to use the Tobey Maguire suit, count me in.
Hi, Mr. Muggins. If this is about the rent.
Mr. Park, it's cold, sir. Third and final one.
Peter never pays rent.
Wait,
Give me
I
rent.
get paid at the end of the week. I get.
You get your rent when you fix this damn door!
Unless full payment is received by close of business. Good day.
Yeah.
Curious about 570, 2K high, FSR hitting 60. Yeah, I'm trying the 570 in a few minutes. Give me a moment.
Available units got another assault in progress. Location is in the vicinity.
Before that, let's put the
Mr. Lee.
next live stream
Hey, Peter, we're
on
all set
cue.
for the party whenever you're ready.
Cool. I'm on my way.
Give me one moment. I'm going to 9:22 p.m. Okay, I'm still on time for the next live stream. The next live stream will be in around 20 minutes. It is what, 9:45? Yeah, 9:45. Okay. I go back to my other live stream and I redirect to the 570 live stream, which we're doing right now. And by right now I mean in a few moments. So many live streams. What is wrong with me?
I'm flying pretty close to blind. Auto look for towers to activate.
Okay, there we go. Okay, I'll play a little bit more here and swap to the 570. Playing with an integrated GPU? No. I'm playing with the 1050 Ti on a 2-core 4-thread CPU. But if you play on a Vega 8, it's probably going to work, I'm guessing. So yeah, as long as you lower the stuff that I showed you in the menu, all the crowd stuff, should be okay. As you can probably notice. Okay. So yeah, if you look into 30, as you can see, it's fine. Let me save the progress. In this case, I might even enable motion blur.
Calling all units. Robbery in progress. Suspects are armed. Any officers in Nomad, please respond.
Yeah, let's save. And I'm going very quickly to Fisk Tower. Let's see if we can actually play there. It's usually GPU bound, that area. But let's give it a shot super quickly. Oh yeah, it's fine.
Hold him so he can't. How exactly do you think this ends well for you? Spread out.
Ooh, that gotta hurt. Jesus Christ. That guy broke his back. My back! Yeah, the 570 is coming in a few minutes. Please be patient.
On to the next one. Regret your life choices yet?
Whoop. Oh yeah.
Gotta find that server
Alright,
before there's
so
no
as you can see, it's fine as long as you lock it to 30, lower everything except in shadows, SSAO and SSR. So I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. I'm now going to jump on the 570 live stream. So hope you enjoyed this. So with the minimum requirements you can actually play the game, which is interesting. I wasn't expecting that. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in a few moments if you join me with the 570. Bye guys, thank you, love you all, see ya.